Welcome to Starting Over 2020. I'm your host Gary, and I want to share with you some of my life lessons. But first, take a few moments to hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any of my future videos. We're in incredibly uncertain times right now with the COVID-19 still spreading around the world. Each day things are changing, the number of infected people keeps rising in leaps and bounds. We have to make sure we're doing our part to try and stop the spread by following your state and town guidelines. Well, the title of this week's episode is How to Wow. This is a great time to think about how we will reposition ourselves once we all get back to work. It'd be very much like starting over for many of us. So one of the first things we'll need to do is regain our previous customers' trust, as well as many of us will need to go out and find new customers. For many of us, we know we have at least 4 weeks to work on this. We can work on our business and marketing plan. So let's start with the question. What does wow look like for you? Which companies currently offer a wow experience or did before being housebound? Now, I don't get to go out of the house like a lot of people. I'm mostly housebound due to my ailments. But when I do get out, the family likes to take me out to the Bellagio. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but they always produce a wow in the atrium. And since moving to Vegas last summer, and actually all of the previous visits we ever did, we always go to the Bellagio, and that's because they have a wow. They have two, actually. One is the intricate artwork with the real flowers that they do in the atrium, and the second is the water fountain performance, in front of which millions of people come and stand and watch each year. Another company that does a great job of wowing people is Cirque du Soleil. Many years ago, they had just one show. Now they have several in Vegas, as well as some over in Orlando and other places. They also have their traveling shows that's like a circus of people with amazing acrobats. They truly do put on a great performance, and you walk away feeling like you really got your money's worth. Let's look at a more national company, Nordstrom's. They work really hard to gain your trust, as they want you to come back when you need your next assignment of clothing or shoes. Now, how many times have you gone in to buy a pair of sneakers and end up with a couple of pairs? They wow you with great customer service and the confidence that they stand behind their products. So what can we do to create that wow customer experience for your business? But what is the definition of wow? So wow is excitement that makes you stand out from the crowd. The enthusiasm, excellence, and success. First, you have to get up and get going. Now, you must make that decision that you want to create and act accordingly. Anticipate in, make some errors, as they're really the only way that you're going to get to the next stage. And fear is one of the main reasons that many people never reach wow. How can you create a mindset of wow that can transform your business to the next level? Now, each industry is going to be a little different, but there's some basic formula. And number one of that formula is trustworthy. Now, if you're close to paper, make sure you write down and jot some of the following topics. Now, trustworthy to me is probably the number one thing that customers look to. We look at ratings of companies these days before we even think about doing any business with them. There are so many sites now that we can look at. So how do we start with this one, especially when we are getting started in the marketplace again? Well, one way is to offer the product or service to a limited number of people for a discount if they are willing to go and give you a reference. Now, I see this a lot with authors these days where they send out a digital book and you need to go to Amazon or one of the other book writers and give your verdict on the book. I've done that for several books recently. It gives me a head start on the book before the book's actually for sale. Now think about and write down how you could build or show trust. Number 2 is service. Now, not all sales have a product. They might be a service-orientated one. A good example are plumbers, electricians, and auto services. The wow can be by something as real simple as showing up on time or even a little early. Communicating with the customer, definitely if you're running late. Look professional when you show up. Know your product or service. Be courteous when talking to your customer. Learn their needs for future sales and services. Number 3, communication. Now, unfortunately, this is one area that gets missed in trying to create a wow experience. You need to empower your staff to talk with your clients or customers. Many times a disaster can be missed just by allowing open communication. This might be training your staff throughout the organization on how to handle the most common conversations. And 4, errors. Over all my years, this has been one of the easiest ways to create a wow with clients, but the power of your team is important. As we earlier talked about, you do not need to grow without making mistakes. The big difference is how you handle them once they're made. Many a company that I've worked with allows all members of the organization to fix mistakes. And we're seeing more and more of that in today's marketplace. We usually look at the restaurant industry and how they respond to an issue. I've been put off by companies that do not handle a mistake very well. And according to how this was handled, it can make a big difference of our view of that company and whether we would even go there with our own business or even recommend them to somebody else. So my big thing is make sure you have a plan when things go wrong. Never ignore and hope it goes away. Most times, if you own it quickly, people understand. Now, Nordstrom and Costco are 2 companies that really strive to wow their customers. 2 very different retail models, but it's very similar in one aspect, and that's how they handle returns. There's many things I wouldn't buy from other companies, but would only buy from Nordstrom or Costco. Now, once we get through all of this, the current business disruptor, COVID-19, many companies will need to get business up and rolling fast. So taking an advantage right now in getting the business model revised or even written will put a good position when the business resumes. Now, I hope that you've found some use in this information. Again, feel free to leave any comments below. Also, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you make sure you get the future episodes. And lastly, Stay safe and remember to keep your social distancing. And have a great day, and we'll see you next time around.